So on paper, the Salomon Pulsar Trail has quite a few things to like. We've got the Energy Blade, the Energy Surge midsole, Contagrip outsole, but does it all work together as one great shoe? Well, let's take a look. But as always, I do need to let you know that Salomon did send the Pulsar Trail to me to review for the sole purpose of testing, reviewing, sharing my honest thoughts. They're not going to see this video before you do. So yeah, let's get straight to the details. As always, when I do a shoe review, the first thing we're going to talk about is some stats. So the Salomon Pulsar Trail is a neutral trail shoe designed for light foot protection with maximum cushioning. It is neutral. There is a fair amount of twist to it there. The midsole is pretty dense when you're pushing on it, but it is a good midsole, which we'll get to here in just a moment. And the Pulsar Trail is designed for a mixed terrain. That's what Salomon says. And for the stack height of the Pulsar Trail, we have 32.6 in the rear, 26.6 in the front for a 6mm drop, offering you plenty of that Energy Surge midsole. Again, we'll talk about that because it's nice. But as far as the weight goes, I threw it on the scale when it was clean and fresh out of the box without all this mud all over it. As you can see, this is really dirty. Men's size 11, weighed in at 11 ounces or 312 grams. So it is by no means a lightweight shoe. With that said though, on the foot, it doesn't feel heavy. Maybe some of that is that Energy Blade, which we'll talk more of. But yeah, it doesn't feel heavy on the foot. It feels quite nice actually. And I should also mention that for me, it runs true to size. Men's size 11 fit just fine, just like the Salomon Ultra Glide or any of my other trail shoes. All right, let's move on to the upper of the Salomon Pulsar Trail. So the upper is a synthetic mesh, it's really no other way to say it, but it's pretty darn plush. I mean, this is a thicker upper. That's where some of that weight comes from that we talked about, but it is very nice. It's super comfortable. So the Pulsar Trail has the Endo Fit, which is an internal sleeve that's designed to hug your foot in just all the right places. And I gotta say, it works like really well. As soon as I put this shoe on, laced it up with the quick lace system, it was just, it just hugged the foot exactly like they said. It was really awesome. Definitely noticed a difference between the Pulsar Trail and the Ultra Glide. The Ultra Glide was a little bit not as snug in a couple of places. And when I say snug on this, I don't mean like constricting or narrow and it doesn't fit well. I mean it just is a good, secure fit. It feels really, really nice. And you can see inside the heel cup here is just nicely padded in all the right places to hug your ankle. The rear of the heel cup is nice. It's got plenty of padding. I don't feel like this is gonna wear and start, causing blisters anytime soon. There's, a good bit of give there as well. There's still some flexibility. It just fits really nicely in this tongue. I mean, take a look at the tongue. It's kind of thick in places. It does have the lace garage on top to tuck the laces into the quick speed lace system, but it's just really nice. It's padded in all the right places. Never once did these speed laces feel like they were digging into my foot, causing any kind of discomfort. And it was just, the upper is fantastic. So I've now put this shoe through 52 miles, almost 15,000 feet of elevation gain over 2 runs, and it's just been awesome. And I've been trying to think of something negative about this upper. The only thing that I can think of is it's not as breathable as some other uppers out there. Some of that fit, that comfort from the plushness of it, it just doesn't allow as much airflow. But I will say, I'm a very heavy sweater. On my run Saturday, the 30-mile run I did, I was out there for a long time and it was very humid. My feet did start getting wet and squishy in this right foot here about 8 miles into the run. However, this is the rare part, for me at least, it dried. My foot dried out after later in the run. I just remember running and thinking like, wait a minute, my foot is not squishing right now. This is odd. Maybe it does breathe better than I think, but I didn't do the tissue test on it because you can see it's filthy. The upper is caked in mud, dirt. It's a dirty shoe right now because I have used it a lot. The laces, like I mentioned, they're pretty good. I did have to stop and kind of tighten them back up after maybe the first hour, after the first big downhill, honestly. So that's where it kind of slides around a little bit, or it did. So I tightened those laces up a little bit and then had no problems for the rest of my run. Another 25 miles at that point. So they work really well and just keep your foot secure. And as far as the width of the actual shoe goes, I've always heard, before I started running in Salomon's, I always heard they were a narrow shoe. So far, the Ultra Glide and now the Pulsar Trail have fit my feet just fine. No issues, no hot spots in any of the medial arches. The toe boxes have been fine. The Pulsar Trail is no exception. It fit me really well, even when wearing the XOSKIN toe socks. Plenty of width in there, Didn't have any rubbing, no hot spots at all over a 7-hour run. Honestly, no negatives. It's a fantastic cover. All right, next we got the midsole of the Pulsar Trail. So the midsole is Energy Surge Foam, which is a combination of an EVA and olefin. Provides a really nice, responsive, springy, bouncy feel to it. The only concern that I have with it, it is the same type of midsole as the Ultra Glide, which is known to kind of go flat after about 140, 150 miles. I've got 52 miles in these now, so I'm not feeling it. Still feels really good. So I will be curious to see if this does have that same issue, and I will be sure to let you know if it does. So stay tuned to the channel. Maybe click subscribe if you're new and you want to see that. You see that video pop up then in your home feed, and scroll down and click the thumbs up button. It does help out the channel a lot. I would really appreciate it. But another thing with this midsole, the Energy Surge, it does have a energy blade. So this is a TPU blade. And if you look on the screen, you can see it's kind of it looks like a fork. It has 3 little prongs, so it's not one smooth plate like a road shoe. So there's a little bit more flexibility in the shoe since you're running on, mixed terrain, varied terrain. You're hitting rocks, roots. Your foot might be bouncing around side to side. You don't want it to throw you off and roll an ankle. And it does provide some flexibility. I am known to have, weak ankles or ankle issues. I've rolled them quite frequently on the trail. I didn't have any issues with these. I did have one minor tweak when I was at the top of the garden spot at Frozen Head. I just wasn't paying attention. I put my foot down where I shouldn't have. It really wasn't any fault of the shoe, I don't think. So I'm not concerned, and I'm actually thinking of using this shoe in a 100K race coming up because I really do like the midsole that much. I think it's going to be offer plenty of protection from rocks, the cushioning that you need for a long distance run, and that energy blade, it is nice. It works. You do feel response from it. It's not a carbon plate. It's not a road racing shoe where you're going to be like propelled forward, and you'll notice it right away. But it does honestly help, especially going uphill. You can kind of feel you feel it a little bit. I don't know how else to say it. It works. So when you combine all of that together for the midsole, the Energy Surge foam, the energy blade, the redesigned geometry of the shoe that just gives you that little propulsion, it just works. It does a great job. Again, I really, so far, don't have any negatives of the midsole, and I've put a good amount of miles on these shoes. It's been a total of probably 11, 12 hours of running on these shoes. So I've got a pretty good experience with it so far, and I like it a lot. So good job, Salomon, on the upper, but definitely on the midsole as well. All right, let's move on to the outsole of the Pulsar Trail. As you can see, this is a Contagrip outsole for all terrain, featuring 3.5mm lugs. It's a pretty, okay, aggressive design. It's not designed for, mud or tackling serious, nasty, gnarly terrain. But, I took this to Frozen Head. If you've ever been to Frozen Head or you know anything about Frozen Head State Park, it's not the most smooth, runnable trails. It's technical, it's muddy, it's slippery, it's cambered trails, it's rock. And these have done fantastic. All 52 of those miles have been at Frozen Head State Park. I've not had any issues. The only issue I had with the shoe and the grip was wet rock, and it's not bad. I did step on a wet rock and slipped a little bit, but it wasn't dangerous so like some other shoes that I've reviewed. I do feel that it has the grip even on wet rock to give you enough confidence. You might not want to be going through at like a race pace. You might want to slow down just a little bit if it's a wet rock, but certainly on dry rock, other terrain, these have just been awesome. In the mud, they grip pretty well. It is a 3.5mm lug. It's not a 5mm lug or a 6mm lug, so it's not going to grip as well as some other shoes. But, with the 3.5mm lug, it works really well. And the Contagrip outsole is kind of known for being fairly durable as well. I'm really not seeing hardly any wear on the outsole. It looks like it's going to be pretty durable and last for quite a while. So I'm not concerned about the outsole of this Pulsar Trail. So one great thing about the Contagrip outsole as well is you can see these lugs are spaced apart. They're not all clumped together real close, which allows that mud, as you run through muddy terrain in places, it allows it to kind of shed off and come off the shoe so it's not caked up on the shoe, adding weight and then reducing your grip. So the design has been really good. I've liked it. And yeah, just overall, it's a good outsole, and I've been really pleasantly surprised. And as far as the price of the Pulsar Trail, it comes in at $130. It is out now. You can purchase it now from Salomon's website. Honestly, there's a couple of colors available, but I really like this color. I think it's a sharp looking shoe. And for $130, I think that's a really good deal, honestly. It's definitely got more protection underfoot than, say, some other shoes in that $120, $130, $140 price range. It has the protection from that midsole. It's a fairly decent sized stack height. That TPU fork in there gives you that response that you want. I think it's totally worth it. I think the shoe is going to last for a little while, pending the midsole. But yeah, 130 bucks all day long. So the bottom line of the Pulsar Trail for me personally is I love the shoe. It's been a surprise. Honestly, I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. I put it on my foot after the first run. It's honestly probably one of the best fitting shoes for my foot shape that I've ever put on for the trail. It's snug in all the right places that it needs to be, but it's so comfortable. I had no issues at all with fit or with blisters or hot spots. And I was on the trail for a long time on some steep, gnarly terrain. I'm talking 40% grade at times. It worked fantastic. So I love this shoe. Highly recommend it. Give it a shot. Go to your local running store. Go online to Salomon's website. I'll put a link below in the description to go pick up these shoes. It's not an affiliate link. It doesn't help support me at all. It just helps support Salomon. But yeah, they're fantastic shoes. Really, honestly, I can't recommend them enough. Give them a shot. Well, that's going to do it for the Salomon Pulsar Trail review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to give the video a thumbs up. It does help out a lot, and I really appreciate it. If you want to take a look at the Salomon Ultra Glide video I did, it's on this side of your screen. Go ahead and click on that. Probably do a comparison of the two shoes coming up soon. And then on this side of the screen, I'll put a playlist up of some shoe reviews to check out for other trail running shoes, road running shoes, all of that in there. So thank you for watching. I do appreciate you all very much. And also thank you to Salomon for sending the Pulsar Trails. And I'll see you on the next one.